also a direct method of measuring the forces. It is called platform balance. Here you can able to observe in this platform balance. This will be the schematic of this. It is also called multi-lever system. Platform balance, or it is also called multiple lever system. It may look like little complex compared to the previous two, right? The previous one will be the equal arm balance, unequal arm balance. This is platform balance. As the name here represent platform, you can observe in this image, it will be having the platform here, right? Platform. It does not have the pan in which the unknown forces can able to measure. Rather than that, it is having the platform. As you can see in the image, this is where the unknown mass, unknown weight will be kept. That is the platform. That's what is called platform balance. See, unlike the previous two, there is equal arm balance and unequal arm balance. This platform balance is suitable for large weight. Whereas the previous two, equal arm balance, there is analytical balance as well as unequal arm balance. It is suitable only for the small mass or small weight. Whereas this, it is useful or suitable for larger weight in terms of thousands of kg. Thousands of kg, it can be measured easily on this balance, which is called platform balance. So the W, what you can able to observe in this image, this is the W represent the unknown mass, which will be kept on this platform for the weighing purpose. It is suitable for larger weight, which is not possible in the previous two balances. It is equal arm balance and unequal arm balance. Platform balance is suitable for larger weight. You can observe here in this image, there will be a pan in it, right? Here, WS, there will be WP, two weights are here. This is poise weight, this is weight of the pan, right? Which will be at this end. So this multiple lever system, or what you call the platform balance, by looking at this image, you can able to observe that what sort of measuring instrument this it is. Any idea about this platform balance? You have seen these things in the grocery stores or the shops where they will going to weigh the rice packets, 50 kg, 1 quintal packets, they're going to weigh on this platform balance. This is what the platform balance. You might have observed in the grocery stores. This is the digital one. So this is the platform on which the heavy weights or larger weight will be kept. It will be shown. Right? The earlier one, this for the heavy weights, this will be the platform on which the weight will be kept. And this is what the WS, what it is shown in the figure, weight of the pan, right? Weight of the poise. So this, considering this as the platform balance, that image is being given with respect to this. This is a digital one. This will be the more of the conventional one, where the weight, still the mass will be kept over here, right? So this is what the platform balance, what we are discussing now in this image, right? The resemblance will be there, right? This is the platform, and this, it can be moved, right? Which is shown here. Say this platform balance or multiple lever system, when measurement of large weights are involved, this multiple lever system or platform system will be used. See, a larger weight, which can be represented by W, right, is measured in terms of two smaller weight. This weight, the large weight which is kept on the balance, it will be measured in terms of two smaller weight. One is WP, what you can observe here, weight of the pies. Another one is WS, weight of the pan. So weight of this object, the larger weight, can be measured in terms of these two weights, weight of pies, weight of pan. Here the system is provided with a adjustable counterpiece. You can observe here, this platform balance is given with a adjustable counterpiece. This can able to move linearly, right? Adjustable counterpiece. The reason of this counterpiece, adjustable counterpiece, is for initial balance. For initially to setting it for the zero, initially balance, this small counterpiece is being provided in this platform balance. See, before the unknown mass, the larger weight W, is applied onto this platform, the poise weight, that is this WP, is set at 0 of the beam scale, and this counter piece, it is also adjusted. So initially it will be at the 0. Count this weight of the poise and the adjustable counter piece will be at the 0. In order to make the analysis simplify, in order to, for the simplification analysis purpose, it is assumed that the weight W can be replaced by two arbitrary weights, W1 and W2, right? You can observe in the image. For the analysis purpose, for simplification purpose, that W is being assumed that it is being replaced by two weight. That's what is mentioned as a dotted line. Right, W1, W2. And one more assumption is that the poise weight is at the 0 before the unknown mass, the W will be kept on the platform. Right. And with respect to the weight of the pan, WS, this entire system is in the balance position. There is the assumption. Right. With respect to this assumption, you can observe here, this is the tension. See here, from this distance to this knife edge, this is C, this is D, E, F, multiple lever system. So this is what the image we are discussing about now, right? You know, the same image, multiple lever system. This multiple lever system, the same image I have taken over here. So for this to get the equation, right? So you can observe here, after this assumption that the W weight is being replaced by W1 and W2, right? And also this weight of the poise is at the 0. The unknown weight W is being applied. So entirely the balance Centrally it is being balanced by the weight of the pan, Ws, right? That is assumption. Based on this assumption, you can observe here T into B. So this is the tension, right? T into B, this distance with respect to this fulcrum will be equal to Ws, that is the weight of the pan, into this distance, arm distance, right? T into B is equal to Ws into A. That will be called as a equation 1. Then one more equation. So T, this tension, into C. You can observe here, the bottom of the image, T into C, right? Actually, to this knife edge will be equal to W1, this W1 into F by D, W1 F by D into E, plus the weight 2, W2 into H, this distance, right? So T into C will can be written in the form of W1 F by D into E with respect to this, right, to this line, plus W2 into H, called as a equation 2. So if the link are so proportional that H by E, this distance H by E will be equal to F by D. That is, if the links are proportional that this distance H by E will be equal to F by D. So this is multiple lever system, right? So these are the supports which is being carried over to these knife edges, right? So finally, whatever the weight, it will be kept over onto this. The magnification takes place, and because of that, you can able to measure with a less amount of weight in the pan. Even though it is a large weight, that you can able to do the measurement by having the smaller weight in the pan, right? By adjusting these counter piece, that is adjustable counter piece, right? So if the links are so proportional that H by E is equal to F by D. So finally, that if it is substituted into the second equation, this H by E is equal to F by D, substituted into this second equation, then the equation will become T into C equal to H, right? H into W1 plus W2. Is H will be the common, which will be equal to HW. This will be the final HW, because W is the weight, the unknown mass, which is kept on the platform. This is being realized by two weights, W1 and W2. So W is equal to W1 plus W2. So instead of W1 plus W2, it is being written as W here, H into W. H is the distance, this distance. So count as a equation 3. From this above equation 3, it is clear that the weight may be placed anywhere. Even though it is a platform of this size, the weight, it is not that it should be kept only at the center or only at the corner. It can be kept anywhere on the platform, and its position relative to these two knife edges on the platform is immaterial. The position of that unknown mass, which is kept onto this platform balance, it is this platform, it is immaterial with respect to these two knife edges, right? So that is what the equation means. See now, with respect to the tension T is concerned, these equation 1 and the 3, it will give rise to this Ws. Ws means weight of the pan into A by B. This distance from this fulcrum to this weight of the pan is this A, and this to this tension, right? It is B. Ws A by B is equal to WH by C from these two equations 1 and 3. If you substitute that into this, you're going to get this equation. See the unknown weight W now, will become A by B into C by H into WS. The unknown weight W will become this. W has been taken this side, so that A by B C by H into WS. This equation, now it got reduced to this. This has been taken to the LHS W. So finally, this will be equal to M into WS. That is unknown weight W will be equal to M into weight of the pan. That M is what here it is given. M is A by B into C by H. This M, it is called multiplication ratio. But that M, it is called as multiplication ratio of the scale, right? So W is equal to M into WS, weight of the pan. That M represent multiplication ratio of the scale. See this M multiplication ratio, M indicate weight that should be put in the pan for balancing. The value of the M indicate how much of the weight that should be placed in the pan so that it can get balance. That is what the M value, multiplication ratio. It indicate the weight that should be put in the pan to balance the weight which is kept on the platform balance. Is multiplication ratio. Suppose here, if you take an example that the unknown mass, suppose you have placed 1,000 kg of weight onto this platform here, and the multiplication ratio, if it is 1,000, for this assume the measurement, the platform balance what you are using, the multiplication ratio, it will be equal to 1,000. And if 1,000 is the kg which is being put onto this platform, so how much of kg of weight it should be put in the pan so that it will get balance? Only 1 kg is enough. So that is what the multiplication ratio means. It indicates the weight that should be put in the pan here so that it will get balance. If the multiplication ratio of this instrument is 1,000, and if the unknown mass which is going to kept here, it will be equal to 1,000 kg, only 1 kg of weight is enough which will be kept in the pan so that it will get balance, right? You can observe in this image, this is the platform balance, this is the platform, the W which is being kept, that is unknown mass, right? Suppose 1,000 kg are put here. Based on the multiplication ratio, only 1 kg of weight is enough in this pan WS to balance. Whenever it get balanced, then only you can able to get the reading, the measurement of this unknown mass. That multiplication ratio, it is already been given over here. That multiplication ratio, that M value, it can be as high as 10,000 kg, right? That multiplication ratio, it can be in terms of as high as 10,000. Now assume that multiplication ratio, it is only given as 1,000. If suppose that is the 1,000, it is been mentioned, the unknown mass what you can able to add here to balance this weight will be 1 kg. So that is what the value of M represent, right? So that is what it is given here. M is equal to A by B into C by H. It is called multiplication ratio. You can observe here. Suppose the scale has a multiplication ratio of 1,000. What the instrument what you are using, it is the scale of 1,000. It means that the weight of 1 kg put in the pan, that can balance a weight of 1,000 kg which is put on the platform. It can vary or it can go up to as high as 10,000, the multiplication ratio, right? So that is what is mentioned. So that is what the multiplication ratio is about. Now, if the beam scale here, what you can able to see here, beam scale is so divided that the movement of the poise, this the movement of the poise, the movement of the poise weight by one scale division represent a force of x times the kg. Then a poise movement of y scale division should produce the same result as that of the WP, which is placed on the pan at the end of the beam, right? So that it is given by equation like this. The weight of the poise WP into y, which will be equal to x into y into a, or x will be equal to WP by a. So this equation represent a relation that determines the required scale division on the beam for any poise weight W. For any poise weight W, this equation represents the relation which determine the required scale division. These scale division, what you can able to observe, right? Scale division on the beam for any poise weight W. So this is what the platform balance. Depending on the multiplication ratio, whether it is 1000 or 10,000, it will determine how much of weight that can be put into this W, S, which is weight of the pan. So basically there will be a pan here on which the weight will be added, so that the weight which is put, the larger weight which is put on the platform will get balanced. Whenever it get balanced, then only you can able to get the reading. You can able to do the measurement. Similarly, like the analytical balance, right? Whenever the pointer will show to 0, when it is get balanced, then only you going to get the reading. Similarly here, whenever it get balanced with respect to this smaller weight which is added in this WS weight of the pan, we can get balanced and to get the reading. So this is the another direct method of measuring the unknown forces. Unknown force means the W which is kept on the platform by using the gravitational force of standard mass. So it is also called multiple lever system. So this is about the third one, direct method of measuring the unknown masses, right? So next topic will be indirect method. Till now what we discuss is the direct method of measuring the unknown forces. Next will be the indirect method of measuring the unknown forces. So this is what the indirect method, right? So indirect method means it involves the measurement of effect of the force on a body. Indirect method represent the measurement of the effect of force on the body. Here the examples what we discussed in the last class. The measurement of the acceleration. If this is the object which need to measure the acceleration of the body of unknown mass which subjected to this force. Because of this force which is being applied, you are measuring the effect of that force in terms of acceleration. This is indirect method, or this deformation, the resultant effect because of the force is being applied. See here also, because of the force is being applied, you are measuring the effect of it. Here also you are measuring the effect of the forces. So that is what indirect method means. Now we are going to discuss about this indirect method. So how to measure the effect of forces on the body, indirect method. So this is what the indirect method. In this indirect method of measuring the unknown forces, we'll discuss about the proving ring. This is one of the device or a measuring instrument which is used for measuring the force. It is called proving ring. It is having the this proving ring. It is a device, right? It is a circular one, right? It is a circular one, circular ring, but it is having the rectangular cross section. You can observe here. It is having rectangular cross section, but it is a circular ring. So this is a device which is actually used to measure the forces. You can observe in this image, particular image, it is the compression force which is being measured. You can observe here, F it is being applied here, right? So this is the proving ring. So effect of the force on the body which is being measured. So here it is a proving ring. It consists of this elastic ring. That is, this ring can able to deform. Both tensile as well as compressive force can be applied onto this. That whatever the force which is being applied, whether it is in this case it is compression, what you are seeing here, it can be tensile also. Whenever the force is being applied, this is the elastic ring, it tend to deform, and that deformation can be measured here by using the micrometer wheel, which is kept or placed in the center, right? So this proving ring, which is circular, having a rectangular cross section, it is subjected to both tensile or the compressive force. So based on the requirement, it can be used for tensile also, compressive force also. So this is what the proving ring it look like, right? Circular cross section, sorry, circular ring with rectangular cross section. So this is the micrometer wheel. See here, it consists of this vibrating reed which is connected to this micrometer wheel. This micrometer wheel, it tend to rotate. Whenever the force is being applied, this elastic member, the circular ring, tend to deform, right? But the deformation, right, it will not be that much because it is a steel ring material, you can observe, right? So whatever the force is being applied, it will be transmitted to this vibrating reed, thereby to the micrometer wheel. So there will be scale which will make possible for the operator to take the reading. What is the force which is being applied? Because it is a device which is used to measure the force which is acting onto this elastic member. So this is what the deformation of this ring may look like. What you can observe, initially this blue color represent, it will be the initially the shape of the ring. Once the compressive force is being applied, as this figure is concerned, it will tend to bulge. So whatever the force which is being applied, this vibrating reed will transfer onto the micrometer, which will make possible to read the value. Like I said, proving ring, it is also used to measure the tensile forces also. If it is tensile, this application of force will be in the opposite direction. This ring will tend to be pulled because it is a tensile force is being applied, and it will go to deform in this shape. And there also it is possible to measure the forces, the tensile force. See here, the deflection what is obtained in this proving ring is very small, and the usefulness of this proving ring as a calibration device, if it can be used as a calibration device, the usefulness of this, it depends on accuracy with which this small deflection is measured. And that small deflection is measured is done by using a precision micrometer. You can observe here precision micrometer, which is mounted on a vibrating reed, right, which is plugged to obtain the vibratory motion. So whatever the damping vibration is observed, that can be read onto this micrometer, which is being connected to it, right? So these proving rings are normally used to measure the force within the particular range, proving ring, right? So this is what the setup of this proving ring, either for the compressive or for the tensile forces. The proving ring, it is available with different sizes. You can observe it is thin ring is also there, thick ring is also there, right? Again, the sizes also can be varied. So depending on the requirement, depending on different test what you can able to perform, you're going to set that particular proving ring. You can observe here on the proving ring, these junctions at which it will be having the load can be applied. You can observe here, this will be having the thread. If the proving ring, which is having the threaded part at the top and the bottom, it is considered to be used for the measurement of tensile forces, because one more rod will be available, right, like this, the connecting the devices, which it will be threaded onto this proving ring. It is having the threads, so whenever it is being threaded, we can able to apply the tensile force. It can able to apply the tensile force, that is the pull force. In order to apply the pull force, if it is compression, no need to have the threading part at this point, right? Simply you can able to mount, or you can able to apply it. If it is the tensile force need to be applied, it has to hold this ring, then it has to pull it. In order for the holding purpose, at these points, junctions will going to have the threading part. If the ring it is having the threads, it is used for the measurement of tensile forces. At this point, it will be wound onto here, threading, then it will be applied for the tensile force. Pull force will be applied. It can be thin or it can be thick proving ring. So this is how the reading can be taken from the proving ring. And here you can able to observe here, it is having the threads here. So if it is having the thread, it is basically used to apply for the tensile force, pull force. Right? The proving ring can be designed to measure either the compression or tension forces. Some proving ring is available for both. The basic operation of the proving ring in tension is same as in the compression, to apply the force, to measure the unknown forces applied onto this proving ring. But the variation or the change is that the tension proving ring will have the threaded bows here, right? and are supplied with the rod for this, so that it is facilitated for the pull to happen, which will be screwed onto these bows. Here is there, here one more is there. So normally this proving ring, to measure the force, it will be in the range of 1.5 kilonewton to 1.5 meganewton. Usually these proving rings are suitable for this range of measurement of the forces. 1.5 kilonewton to 1.5 meganewton. It is suitable to measure the forces. So this is an indirect method of measuring the unknown masses. See here, you have not applied any of the standard mass, any weight. Without applying any standard mass, without applying any standard weight, without the gravitational force, you are measuring the unknown mass or unknown forces. So it is an indirect method. The effect of force on the body you are measuring. That's why it is an indirect method of measuring the unknown force. Proving ring. I hope all of you understood this indirect method. So next topic will be torque. So we will discuss about the torque and how to measure this particular torque. So all of you know this torque. Basically, torque is the force which is being applied for the twisting motion by the length. See, torque is basically a moment of the force. It is a rotational force. Tend to rotate a object. So force by length is what the torque. See, the force in addition to its effect along its line of action. The force in addition, the force in addition to its effect along its line of action may exert a turning effect related to any axis other than those of intersecting line of action. Here you can observe that such a turning effect, what the force will going to generate is called as the torque, or it is also called as couple. The force in addition to its effect along its line of action may exert a turning effect related to any axis other than those of the intersecting line of action, which is shown in this figure. This is such a turning effect is called as the torque or the couple. So torque will be given with respect to this particular figure is concerned. F B1 minus F B3. F into B1. So clockwise and anti-clockwise rotation. F into P1 minus F into P3 will be equal to, which will give rise to F into B2. Right? So the reason of measuring the torque is to obtain the load information, which will be necessary for the stress, or for to analyze the stress, or for the deflection. So torque is force into the radius. See, torque measurement is associated with determination of the mechanical power. It is the power required for operating the machine. The measurement of the torque is associated with determination of the mechanical power. If the mechanical power of an engine or a machine, if you can able to measure it, then the torque of that can able to measure. The power which is required for operate the machine, it can be 2 pi nt, where n is the speed, which is in RPM, revolution per second. See here, before going into that measurement of the torque, this is an introduction for it. If you take an automobile industries, for a car or for automobile, in order to make the testing, in order to say that the particular automobile which is being manufactured, it is good enough, which is having a quality, in order to make the test, different test which will be conducted. Usually the one parameter where the maximum test will be going to conduct, that is like testing the performance, testing the responsiveness to the acceleration, that is measuring the performance of the automobile, or measuring the responsiveness for the acceleration, that is 0 to 100 in 0.1 second, in 5 seconds. That is the responsiveness to the acceleration. The emission or the fuel economy, the durability, how much of noise it can able to generate, how much of vibration it can able to generate. So these different measurements, performance, responsiveness to the acceleration, the fuel economy, durability, the noise, vibration, all these things, the parameter which will going to affect these measurements, or these measurements will be the basically the engine, right? Basically it is the engine of the automobile, which will have number of these different various tests can be able to perform, like measuring the performance, the vibrations, the durability, the fuel economy, those things, it is related with respect to the performance of the engine. There is the basically the engine design, the compression ratio, the wall timing, the lubricant, and the temperature what it can able to reach. So in order to develop a particular automobile, without testing the engine, it is not possible to realize that particular vehicle. So in order to develop a automobile, without testing the engine, it is not possible to do the or realizing the particular automobile. Right? So the common prime mover, which is used for to measure these different measurements or test is concerned, it is the prime mover. And the prime mover in the automobile vehicle is the IC engine, internal combustion engines. See, these internal combustion engines will going to produce a power by converting the chemical energy of the fuel into heat, right? The IC engine, it can able to generate the power by conversion of the chemical energy, that is the fuel, into the heat, which will be followed by conversion of that heat into mechanical work, rotation of the shaft or movement of the shaft. So chemical to heat, heat to mechanical work. So this conversion takes place because of the combustion. So finally, the shaft will tend to be rotate, right? The energy transfer, finally the shaft will tend to be rotate. You can observe, right? So this will be finally the shaft, it tend to rotate, which will provide the required power for the automobile to move. So here, this is what the twisting torque, which we are tend to be going to do the measurement now, right? The torque or the shaft, the twisting or rotating movement, which will tend to supply the power That is what we're going to discuss now about this torque. Right? So ability of an IC engine to do work is basically measured by a quantity which is known as torque. You can observe in this image, right? The ability of the IC engine for doing the work, it is basically measured by a quantity which is known as torque. And the torque which is produced by the IC engine, it is measured by a device which is known as dynamometer. So basically dynamometer is a device which will measure the torque produced by the IC engine, and torque is a quantity which measures the ability of the IC engine to generate the power. All of you understanding, right? The ability of the IC engine to do the work, it measures basically a quantity called torque. And in order to measure the torque of an IC engine, a device will be used, and the device is called as dynamometer. Basically, dynamometer is a device which will going to resist the torque which is produced by the engine. Dynamometer is a device which is actually connected to the engines or the electric motors. Basically, the dynamometer will going to resist the movement of the engine. There is a shaft to which it is been coupled, and thereby it measures the torque which the engine or the electric motor which can able to generate. So basically in engine testing, it is important to recreate the actual on-road situations. In automobile, to realize the automobile, you need to test the engines. In order to test the engine, you have to recreate an on-road situation, how much of load it can able to bear while on road. So you need to restrict the movement of the shaft, what it going to generate in a most effective way. So in order to get the accurate data, so that how much of torque it can able to generate, it can able to work. So in order to realize that, dynamometer will be used. So it is a device to measure the torque which is produced by the IC engines, and torque is a quantity which will be used to express the amount of work the IC engine can able to generate. So torque, dynamometer, both are related with respect to the performance of the engine is concerned, with respect to power of the engine is concerned. So this is what the dynamometer. So this is a device. You can observe here. This is the coupling which is being done, and this will be the motor or the engine. So this will be the shaft which will be coupled with this dynamometer. 2. It is being shown as 2. You can observe here. This is the coupling. Right? The engine with the dynamometer, it is possible to do the measurement. Not only engines but also for the electric motors, it can be coupled with the dynamometer to measure the torque. And torque represents the ability of the motor or the engine to do work. So to measure that, this will be used. This device, particular device, can be used. It is called dynamometer. So dynamometer is a device which is used to measure the frictional resistance. Right? Frictional resistance. By knowing the frictional resistance, it is possible to determine the torque. transmitted, and hence the power of the engine. So power of the engine can be found out by knowing the torque which can able to transmit, and torque, how much it can able to generate, that can be measured through the friction resistance by using the dynamometer as a device. So simple one sentence. So dynamometer is a torque measuring device. Torque measuring device is, they are called as dynamometers. See, this measurement of the power generated done with the help of the dynamometer. It is considered as a brake expert, for which it is not measuring, it is not a measuring device. It will indicate the magnitude of the force which is required in attempt to stop the engine, to create this, right, to simulate or to recreate that on-road situation by resisting that, right, it can able to measure. Here it indicate the magnitude of the force required in attempt to stop the engine. So that is what the dynamometer is about. It is a device which is basically used to measure the torque, and there are three types of dynamometers. You can observe here: absorption dynamometer, driving dynamometer, transmission dynamometer. These are the three types of